That's bad.
Alright, today we're going to see what James Brown's going to run with the new setup. We're going to go up to Mid-Michigan Motorplex in Stanton, Michigan, and see how many runs we can get off, and see what this new setup's going to do. If you remember last year, our personal best with the thing was 9.5 at 140. That was with a 141, I think, 60 foot, a 606 at 115/8, and 952 at 140 and change mile an hour. And I like to think that we improved this setup a whole lot over the winter, so we're going to see what it's going to do finally. I feel like I finally got a handle on the tune, and I feel like it's finally ready to take out and see what it'll run. We changed a lot of stuff under the now hood that's on the car. Pops and I got this thing on here yesterday, just slapped it on just because we figured why not. But yeah, last year we went 1.4 to the 60, leaving on about 4 pounds of boost and roughly 2,400 RPM because I was having an issue where I would get up on the two-step. I'm still foot braking this car. I kick myself every time I say that for not putting a trans brake when I had the trans build. But yeah, I would get up on the two-step and then I'd start pulling timing and it would fall off the two-step. I'm pretty sure I've got that taken care of. I was out here for quite a while yesterday abusing this transmission. But right now I think I've got it figured out to where it stays on the two-step, it's building boost. But right now the tune that I have in the car, it's 3,000 RPM two-step, it stays right there. And we're building about 6.5 pounds of boost, which I think is a really good starting point. So there's a couple things I gotta take care of real quick. I need to change the water in the intercooler tank, get some fresh cold water in it. This stuff's probably 80 degrees right now. And I need to set the tire pressure because it's I like to start at the highest pressure I think it's going to need, and then it's easy enough to drop the pressure when you're at the track. I've been trying to take notes of everything for the last few months, so I've got books on most of the cars. It's a lot easier to glance back at these and see what things were instead of trying to remember it. So I'm going to take care of this stuff real quick, and then we'll get the car loaded up. Might test the two-step here just to double check, and then we're going to head up to the track. Got James unloaded, tested the two-step, got right up to 6, stayed there, so we're all good. Just set the tire pressure, got cold water in the ice tank. John's Blazer's having, he thinks his front shocks are blown out, so, oof. So we're about to go get teched in a few minutes, start making some passes. So we're leaving on 6 PSI and I got it ramping to 10 PSI in about 2 seconds. Trying to be kind of gentle with it, see what it's going to do. And if everything feels good, we'll start putting more to it and see how fast we can go. Tech here is so easy.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
All right. In the staging lanes, getting strapped in, ready to make a pass. See what we can do. Hey, you feeling it?
What are we waiting for?
What?
What are we waiting for?
I don't know. Something fell off a car or something down there. I know there ain't nothing on the track.
What?
There's nothing on the track.
Didn't build any boost. I left on 3 pounds. Alright, so that was a 654 at 111, and I was expecting to leave on 6 pounds of boost, but it only made about 3, so that's why it was so slow. And like I said, I'm only ramping to 10, so I'm going to pull the SD card out, put it in the computer, look at the data, and hopefully we can figure out how to make this thing quicker. But a 650 first pass out, I don't think that's too bad for only making, I think, about 10 pounds of boost. But like I said, we'll look at the data and we'll see if we can get a 5 today. Alright, so looking at the data, when I unloaded the car, I put it on the 2-step, made 6 PSI just fine. I get up to the line here, and it gets to 3 and just stays there, and it dropped down to 2400 RPM again. So that's frustrating. But there's another issue of the boost spiked. So I'm commanding 10 PSI here, and it spiked to 10.8 in first gear. Dropped a little bit after the shift, which I short shifted the frick out of it. I shifted at 5100. And then after the shift, it rolled out. And as I'm crossing the line right here, it's at 15 PSI. And it climbed all the way to 19.7 when I let off. And I let off at probably 800-900 feet. Got to figure those out. And when I was coming down the return road, I heard something kind of rattling in the back. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the weld for my panhard bar right there is starting to break. Alright, so that did not go as planned, but that's why we test. So the keen observer will notice we are no longer at the track. We are back at my place, because there was just a bunch of, not really a bunch of issues. There was really 2 main issues. One was it was not building boost on the 2-step, and I'm not really sure why yet, but Friday
I tested it 6-7 times, worked perfect. Built the 6 pounds I was commanding every time. Got to the track, unloaded, tested it one more time, still worked good. Got up to the lanes, did the burnout. I don't know if something must have happened in the burnout that made it unhappy, but after the burnout, got into the beams, got on the 2-step, and it wouldn't go past 3 pounds of boost. So that really sucked, and that really contributed to our kind of crappy time. It's not really fair to say kind of crappy time, because that's about what I was expecting it to do. Zeth from Dirt Floor Fab stopped by, and he was chatting for a little bit, and he was like, what do you think it'll do? And I told him that the tune that I put in the car, I expected to do about a 630. And I think if we had 60-footed like it was supposed to, that it probably would have been there. We went 654, I think. And we left on 3 pounds. I don't remember what RPM. I'll have to look at the data log. We left on 3 pounds and ramped it to 10 pounds. So, like I said, that's about what I expected it to do. About a 630, 640, and it went 650 with some trouble. So can't really be too mad at that, even though I am a little disappointed that we couldn't make more runs and see if we could squeak to those 5s. But it was the first time out with this setup, aside from just going up and down the street with it. And truthfully, I think that I could have dealt with the leave and just ramped the boost in super quick after I let off the button and turned the boost up to like 15, 16 pounds, and we probably could have gotten a pretty decent number. Low 6s for sure, but the mount for the panhard bar being broke, I didn't really want to push that because the weld, it's only like 2 inches of weld and it's cracked halfway through. So I figured it'd probably be better to live and fight another day and bring it home and get that thing welded up instead of making a pass and it breaks and then the car's shimmying and me putting it in the wall, something like that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I want to pull the tires off and jack it up and take a look at everything, see what we're doing, and take a couple quick measurements to make sure that the rear end's still square, and then I will weld that thing back up. Because the fender has been gouging these tires, and that's honestly one of the worst parts of this car is the suspension and the back half. Like all last night and this morning, I was just contemplating, like, what do I do with this car? The goal with it was 10s. It's kind of like in this weird limbo of not fast enough to be a real race car. So what do I do with it? I mean, I already accomplished the goals with it, which, like I said, were 10s. We coasted to a 10, letting off at like 700 feet. So it's like, do I take this drivetrain, pluck it out, and put it in a better chassis? Or do I completely, to get this car to where I think it would be not really a winner, but competitive, I think that it would require a good bit of work. I mean, you guys know it just has a bolt-in roll bar. It needs a full cage because I got kids. I'd like to keep seeing them. It needs to be back halved because the biggest tire I can fit is a 26.85, and that rubs inside and out. So that really sucks. And it's not like I can just mini tub it because it's the control arms that it's hitting. So at that point, 4-linker ladder bars. And then the front suspension, this is still bone stock 1984 Mazda suspension up front. That, knock on wood, has been somewhat decent so far, but I know once I really start putting some power to it, I'll need to be able to control the rebound and compression and everything. And there's not a really affordable way to do that just yet. I know I could do the stuff that Hayden Meticulous did and put a bunch of Mustang parts on it, but I don't know. Got to do some thinking, but I don't think I'm really going to worry about that until this winter, and we'll see. I'll either completely strip this thing down. It'll still probably be mostly full interior because it's like the dash and the door panels and stuff don't weigh a ton, and the car's 2,900 with me in it right now, so it's like, you know, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I did have the thought of taking that drivetrain and putting in the Starfire. Starfire is still for sale, by the way. And then making this a small tire car because I don't really care about big tire stuff, honestly. But that thing runs so good, I don't really want to mess it up. Anyway, let's get these tires pulled off and inspect everything. Okay, just got the tires off and looking at the passenger side. It's not too bad. You can definitely see the shiny spots where it's been rubbing. This is all the rubber from the tire coating this. And this is after I had hammered this in a little bit. And you can kind of see on the fender lip where it's been rubbing. But yeah, overall this side not too bad. You can see how stupid these control arms are, because like I said, when I first put the car together I had no intentions of actually racing it, and then lo and behold, here we are trying to go kind of quick. But yeah, stock location control arms. I reused the stock mounts off the stock rear end on this Ford 88, and I didn't account for the thickness of the tube because the stock rear end was like, I don't know, 2 1/4 or something. So when I cut those off, I just welded them right to this rear end, and it pushed this mount up like 1/2 inch and the one below down 1/2 inch. So our anti-squat line is real goofy right now. But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is when we come over to the driver's side and look right there. That's not ideal. Now, what might not look too bad right now, let me turn the light on. Yeah, that's what my control arm is bolted to right now. The RX-7's going to be down for a little bit while I figure this out. It's not something I want to just weld a plate to real quick and throw it together to try to make it to the JJ's arm drop at Martin. So we probably won't be taking the RX-7 to that. If we're already here, we might as well try to improve things. Or maybe, you know, for those of you who are into looking for signs, maybe this is the sign that we find a new chassis to throw everything in. I don't know, so that actually kind of sucks. I think in the span of like 2 weeks, we went from 4 running and driving cars to now 1. We blew up Jack, head gasket on the Mustang, and now this on the RX-7. So we've only got the Starfire left. Cars are so stupid. I need a different hobby. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think we should do. Should we keep moving forward with the RX-7, or do you guys want to see a different chassis? Because I'm kind of open to that. Like I said, we've already met the goals with the RX-7, and it's in kind of this weird limbo area where if I'm going to have a street car to just cruise around in daily, I want it to have a back seat, so that's not really this. So it's either we get rid of it and get something else, or we go full with it and start making it a race car. Anyway, like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell. I'll see you next time.